Hey everyone, my name is Neil Aryan, and in this video, we're going to be talking about database services. This is the ninth video in a series of videos that I'm going to be doing that covers different topics in the AWS CLP examination. The first thing we're going to talk about are the two different types of databases, the first being a relational database. Now, a relational database stores data in a way that it relates to other pieces of data. And this database uses something called structured query language, or SQL for short. And what we have below is an example of what that would look like. In this example, you have different columns that have different attributes to one data point. And one of the data points is John A, 3 pants, $45 order costs, and his address 123 Main Street. And the second is Jane B, who has ordered one shirt with an order cost of $10, who lives on 30 Great Road. Now, all of these are all of this information in one data point is relevant, and they're all related to one another. And I can explain. Let's say you're the person who's delivering or packaging this. You would have to say, okay, the name on this package is John A. John A ordered 3 pants. These 3 pants, the order cost for these 3 pants are $45. Now the $45 should be charged from John A's bank account if they have that information stored, and it should be delivered to 123 Main Street. So all of the information on a relational database relates to one another and is integral towards getting the whole idea of what the data is supposed to represent. It's very important to know it's very important to know everything about one data point because everything is related to it. Now, what Amazon does is Amazon has a feature called Amazon Relational Database Storage, or RDS for short, and it enables you to run the service in the cloud. It's fully managed by AWS. And because of that, it automates several tasks such as hardware provisioning, which is basically setting up the servers. It automatically backs up the data. It sets up the entire database, and it patches any glitches or errors or bugs in the code. It additionally provides data encryption at rest and in transit. And it uses 6 different database engines, which are Aurora, PostgreSQL, MySQL, MariaDB, Oracle Database, and Microsoft SQL Server. You don't need to memorize the 6 different engines that it uses. Maybe you should know that these engines optimize for memory performance and input-output. The engines of RDS aren't really something that come up during the exam. You don't really need to know this, but it's good to keep in mind these engines exist and that they serve a pretty important function. Now let's talk about Amazon Aurora, which is one of the engines that I just mentioned. It's the engine that comes specifically from Amazon. And this engine helps to reduce the cost by removing all unnecessary operations while ensuring that the functionality of your database resources are still available. And it's best for workloads that require a really high availability, something that's really important for your application to continue to run. It constantly updates your data across 3 availability zones, and it stores this data in an S3 server bucket. Now let's talk about the different kind of database called a non-relational database. This is a type of database that stores it stores data in a key value pair. It's pretty similar to dictionaries on Python or a hash map on Java, and it's sometimes referred to as a NoSQL database. And you can see here that you have one column that represents order number and the other that are details. Now, it doesn't matter what the order number is to the details because 2 orders could have the same details. For example, order 4 might be 2 shirts and 3 ties. Order 5 might be 1 belt and 1 pant. Order 6 can also be 1 belt and 1 pant. So, the number of the order doesn't really matter as to what the details of that order is. They come hand in hand, but it doesn't really depend on the other. It's not really related to one another. It's just there to identify what one thing is. And AWS offers another service that is used for storing your data in non-relational databases called Amazon DynamoDB. It's a type of non-relational database with very low latency. It allows to deliver single-digit millisecond performance at any scale, no matter how big your database is. Not only that, it automatically scales and it's serverless, similar to RDS. And it has a function called DynamoDB Accelerator. And it's a tool that's used to improve response times from single-digit milliseconds to microseconds, which are 1,000 times faster, but you don't really need to know that difference. You just need to know that the accelerator helps to improve response times greatly. Now, let's talk about data warehousing. Redshift. Redshift is a data warehousing service that you can use for big data analytics. It offers the ability to collect data from many sources and helps you understand relationships and trends across your data. It's in a way used for business analytics and data analytics to identify certain patterns that are emerging in your business, maybe certain items that are being sold from your application or your website, and it'll help you track the different things that are going on your website from the front end and the back end. For example, which instances are being overutilized and which instances need more attention, which instances don't do enough work and can be cut down on to save costs. Redshift will give you an idea about these. One thing that I will tell you for the exam, wherever someone says data warehouse or whenever it's mentioned on the exam, you should think Redshift because that's for this exam, it's the only data warehousing service that's going to be tested. Now let's talk about AWS Database Migration Service, also known as DMS. This exists to migrate relational databases, non-relational databases, and other types of data stores, such as Redshift. With this, you can develop and test database migrations before you actually do it to ensure that the migration will work and the two ends that you're delivering or taking content from are compatible. It's also used to consolidate the database to make it easier to travel, to move around and work with, and it continuously replicates the data that's stored in the database so that you can so that you can get a safe fault tolerant system stored so that if you lose this data, you'll still have a pretty recent model of the same data. Now, thank you for watching this video. In this video, we talked about the two different types of databases, relational and non-relational. We talked about relational database service, DynamoDB, Redshift, and data migration service. In the next video, we're going to be talking about the shared responsibility model and an IAM feature, which is a security protocol. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and have a wonderful night. Thank you.